So, hello, Your Excellency. Thank you so much for making time to join us today. It has been nearly a year since we saw each other because of the breakout of the pandemic. But it's really great to see you and see that you are well and healthy. We just getting to how your normal lives have been, and I understand that you normally celebrate your Republic Day in October each year, and last year was the 97th anniversary of Republic Day. So please share with us if the pandemic changed the way of celebration at all, and how this would normally be celebrated in your home country.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure for me to meet you after all those long months, and it's a good opportunity to get together and to talk a little about Turkey and Turkish-Korean relations. So thank you for this opportunity. Well, it has been a difficult year, and unfortunately we were not able to celebrate our national holiday, national reception in Korea. We had to cancel because of the restrictions. But anyway, 29th of October 1923 is the day that Turkey was proclaimed as a republic. After nearly 7 centuries of Ottoman imperial rule, which collapsed following the First World War, the ensuing occupation and partition of the Turkish homeland Anatolia by Western forces and their regional collaborators led to an uproar in Turkish national sentiment and resulted in the Turkish War of Liberation in 1919. Spearheaded by its legendary leader Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, this fight for freedom ended in a military victory in 1922 and led to the birth of modern Turkey, which stands today on a universally accepted principles like market economy, democracy, rule of law, secularism, welfare state. As a member of NATO and Council of Europe, and our foreign policy goal of peace at home, peace in the world, reflect our vision of global peace and prosperity. On 29th of October 2020, as I said it before, we unfortunately had to cancel our celebration, our reception, National Day reception in Korea. But in Turkey, the anniversary, 97th anniversary of Proclamation of Republic of Turkey was celebrated, of course, in a somber way, and not, in a very joyous manner as in the past. In the meantime, we are also preparing for the centennial of the Proclamation of Republic of Turkey, and that was set as a target to further strengthen Turkey's political, economic, and cultural standing among the global community.
So I hope everybody at home back in Turkey is safe and well as well. But how has the economy been in your country? And how would you evaluate the Turkey's economy outlook and investment environment in the coronavirus pandemic period?
Well, there's no doubt that the coronavirus pandemic has not negatively affected all areas of life, particularly in the economy, not only in Turkey but throughout the world. All the world has witnessed a sharp decline in global trade and foreign direct investment, even prior to the outbreak, due to certain reasons such as uncertainty in trade policies, escalating protectionism, and falling profitability. Meanwhile, the Turkish economy expanded by 6.7% in the third quarter of last year. With this outcome, in fact, Turkey ranked the first in the world and became the only OECD member country to post a positive growth during this period. Turkey has focused on instruments during last year to alleviate the effects of the pandemic, increase the resilience of our economy, generate more job opportunities, and boost production and efficiency. In order to minimize the negative effects of the pandemic, the Turkish government consciously avoided protectionist policies and monitored the new opportunities based on ever-changing supply chain trends and implemented relevant responses, and also sought to enhance Turkey's global cooperation network. Key reforms and legislative efforts have also been put in place to improve Turkey's investment environment and increase direct investments needed for Turkey's sustainable development. Furthermore, incentive programs catering to the needs of investors have been devised to provide Turkey with high added value investments that would integrate Turkey into the global value chain. Currently, special incentive packages for technology incentive investments, strategic investments, priority sectors, and regional investments, particularly R&D incentives, are offered to investors. This is extremely important for me as a Turkish ambassador in Korea, of course. The Turkish government has further launched a project-based investment scheme for mega projects in strategic sectors. Turkey made significant progress in the World Bank's Global Ease of Doing Business Index to climb from 84th place to 33rd place in 14 years as of 2020. Following such reforms and incentives, Turkey also has attracted a total foreign direct investment amount of more than $222 billion. So it's for us, it's a record-breaking figure. Well, the things are not as good as expected, but as not bad as we were anticipating. The things are recovering, and we hope 2021 will be better economically.
Great to hear about the recovery. Let's talk about the relationship between the two countries. Ankara Park in Korea's political center, Yeouido, is testament to the solid bilateral relationship between the two countries. To tell you the truth, I was born and raised in Yeouido, but not many people seem to be aware of the history of the relationship between Turkey and Korea. And some would say the high watermark of the friendship was made most conspicuous by the Korean War. And in fact, 2020 was the 70th anniversary of the outbreak of the war, which was a watershed moment in the history of both Republic of Turkey and the Republic of Korea that call themselves blood brothers today. So how do you picture the next 10 years of bilateral relations and cooperation between the two countries?
Well, Turkey and Korea, although geographically 9,000 kilometers apart from each other, have succeeded to maintain a close relationship for decades. Political relations between Turkey and the Republic of Korea were established in 1949. Our relations, which date back many centuries, have transformed, as you said, into a blood brotherhood with the Korean War, and were upgraded to a strategic partnership in 2012. Today, the Republic of Korea is not just our brother, close friend and strategic partner, but also our second largest trading partner in Asia Pacific, just after China. And in addition to regular mutual high-level visits, Turkey and South Korea enjoy close cooperation in also international organizations, especially in the United Nations and in G20. And our political leaders frequently meet in the framework, in fact, met before 2020, but unfortunately, President Moon's scheduled visit in last March, was postponed due to the outbreak of Corona-19. Well, also MIKTA platform has created another good forum for two countries to cooperate. 2020 has been a time of uphill struggle with a novel threat, the pandemic, which led to a slowdown in the pace of our relations, as it is the case with all the other, many other countries. And our relations, our contacts were minimized or in fact, realized through video conferences and like Zoom and other webinar tools were used to further our relations. As things eventually normalize, I'm sure as of this year, Turkey and Korea will be able to once again engage in direct interactions. One of the big expectations in Turkey from Korea is the rescheduling of Moon's visit to Turkey. Korea, even after 70 long years, has not forgotten the sacrifice of our soldiers in the line of duty for the freedom of Koreans. That is amazing. I witnessed this sentiment in all my encounter with the students and with the people in the street and everywhere. Sharing times of hardship at that time created an unbreakable connection between individuals. But we are very proud that among the participating nations to the Korean War was, Turkey was number 3 in terms of the fallen soldiers and number 4 in terms of the number of troops dispatched here to Korea. Turkey, another thing, is the only country that Korea honors as a blood brother. And this comes to show that the strength of our bond and the deeper solidarity we share. Therefore, I'm confident that we can venture into new areas of cooperation that will make those bonds even stronger as of this year in the future. Last year, Turkey announced a new initiative towards Asia, which is quickly evolving into the world's new economic gravitational center in the context of our new initiative called Asia Anew. Our goal is to improve our relations and capture a brand new energy with all of the Asian countries, particularly in Northeast Asia, especially Korea. We are expecting our minister to visit here soon. It was not possible last year. Again, another important visit that will take place early this year. We are developing the necessary tools to comprehensively embrace Asia under the new concept of Asia Anew, with the cooperation of public and private sector, universities, as well as civil societies. This will encompass many areas, including education, defense industry, investment, trade, technology, culture, and political dialogue. We see Korea, our second largest trading partner in Asia, as one of the strongest pillars of this policy. This year, the new initiatives will be implemented between Turkey and Korea. And our future cooperation perspective with Korea particularly is aiming at focus on especially on digital transformation and components of the fourth industrial revolution. Korea is among the leading actors of the digital transformation, and we have a lot to gain from this cooperation. We also intend, after this pandemic catastrophe, to work more closely in the health sector, from biotechnology and immunology to vaccine and protective gear production. Another priority field is the defense industry, notably naval and air defense industries. We already have an intense cooperation in these fields. Construction has traditionally been an important field of cooperation between two countries. Korean companies have already contributed to major infrastructure projects in Turkey. Turkish-Korean partnership will continue to put its mark to new projects, not only in Turkey, but also in the third countries with the partnership of Turkish and Korean companies. Despite the pandemic, which has brought to a halt most commercial and tourism activities, we observe a promising increase in investments of some major Korean companies in Turkey. We will encourage further investments and seek new ways to improve our trade relations as well. So in a nutshell, we are very optimistic about the future of bilateral relations, and we have all the ingredients to improve this relation further and to take our relations to the next level. And that's why President Moon's prospective visit this year will be another milestone in our bilateral relations.
Once again, we simply can't thank you enough for all the sacrifices you've made to stand by us during the war. I would like to move on to a slightly lighter subject and more fun subject, actually. Officials in the province of Bursa, the city where the Ottoman Empire originated, are carrying out special efforts to ensure that South Korean tourists visit the city more. And a mirror man statue gifted to the city by the famous South Korean artist yoon-hee as a symbol of the brotherhood between the two countries was also erected in the Bursa nation's garden. Could you please point us to a cultural attraction that might be of interest to prospective Korean tourists thinking about visiting Turkey in the future when we are able to travel again when the pandemic is finally over?
Located at the crossroads of multiple regions, Turkey has been a cradle and bridge for many civilizations. It has inherited traditions and cultures of earlier civilizations, creating its unique character and contributing to the vast diversity of humanity. Turkey is a modern country with captivating blend of antiquity and contemporary, and East and the West. It is one of the leading tourism destinations in the world, including for the Koreans, with stunning sceneries and the rich cultural and historic legacy, with its cosmopolitan cities, peaceful villages, natural wonders, beautiful coastlines, and spectacular historical icons. Turkey is easily one of the world's most fascinating destinations, hosting around even more than 40 million tourists yearly, except 2020. Istanbul has a number of major attractions derived from historical status and as the capital of two empires, Byzantine and Ottoman empires. The riches of Istanbul include Sultanahmet Mosque, the Blue Mosque, Hagia Sophia, Topkapi, and Dolmabahce palaces. Mediterranean and Aegean coastal areas are a must-see for sea-loving tourists. Major resort towns include Bodrum, Fethiye, Marmaris, Antalya, Kuşadası. There are so many towns that there's a long list. There's no time maybe to name them, each of them. But Antalya among them is also a leading golfing resort. That is an important sport for Koreans, we know. And of course, it has breathtakingly beautiful golf courses. And Bursa, I was there for the inauguration of Mirror Man. It was an incredible ceremony, and it was very touching. I was moved by the song Arirang, sang by the Turkish boys and girls, and without accent, as far as I understand. And really, Bursa has a very charming Korean origin now, piece of art, and I think it will be a new place of attraction for the Korean tourists who will visit Bursa. And as you have mentioned, Bursa also hosts an array of historical and cultural sites, and it was the place, the venue where Ottoman Empire was founded. Besides its beautiful green landscapes and villages, it has ski resorts, thermal waters, and all the past Ottoman legacy, all the mosques and other things. And Bursa municipality is making a strenuous effort to promote Bursa in Korea. Since 2 years, they are working to be recognized among the Koreans quite hard. And unfortunately, last year was a wasted year. But as of this year, as the things get to normal, they are expecting quite a number of Korean tourists. Other cultural attractions elsewhere in Turkey include the historic sites of Ephesus, Troy, Pergamon, Pamukkale, Hierapolis. All those places are particularly worth seeing for the Christian Koreans and for the Christian tourists. And Didima, Church of Antioch, one of the earliest churches of Christianity. King Rock Tombs with its Acropolis in Amasya, religious places in Mardin, ruined cities, and in landscapes of Cappadocia, which is also well known among the Koreans. Göbekli Tepe is a very recent discovery in Şanlıurfa, also should not be missed by those interested in the earliest man-made structures of monopolitic period of date. Ankara, as the capital of Turkey, is also worth visit. It is also hosting Roman ruins, and also Anıtkabir, the mausoleum of Atatürk, and the founder of course, Republic of Turkey, and various historical museums. Among those museums, one is particularly important, Anatolian Civilizations Museums, Hittite museums, in other words, that it has the largest Hittite collection in the world. So Turkey is a country one needs to go many times to fully discover. So I have just named some of them.
I cannot wait to visit. I've never been, but
Yeah,
I'll definitely reach out to you when I get to finally go. It seems like you have a lot of recommendations. The Korean Communications Commission conducted a survey of key Korean Wave target countries, including the United States, Canada, India, Hungary, and Turkey. The survey lists Turkey as the #1 country watching the most Korean shows. And with nearly 1 in 2 people in Turkey having watched Korean TV shows, the Korean Wave has been gaining serious traction across the country, and increasingly so in the younger demographic of 20 to 40-year-olds. So could you please comment on an aspect of the Korean Wave that really speaks to the Turkish people and has brought about this widespread success? I mean, why do you think it's so popular in your country?
Well, there is really a visible interest, a growing interest in Turkey for Korean culture, especially K-pop music and groups, as well as TV dramas, are very popular among youngsters in Turkey. There are many teenagers, including the children of my friends, that are attending Korean language courses. And because of their growing interest towards Korea, our students come to Korea to enroll in its world-renowned universities, in the meantime building bonds of friendship that will last for a lifetime. I think, and there are many mixed marriages. Those students coming here, studying and meeting boys and girls in Korea, and they get married. Some of them are settling down here. So we are happy about that. I think our shared ancestral past and traditions also play a significant part in how to relate to Korea, how we relate to Korean culture and art. Our languages, stemming from Ural-Altaic past, are very similar. And our languages portray our thoughts in a similar structure and manner. And therefore, we have a similar way of expressing our emotions and perceiving the world. Korean contemporary music and dramas are also rich in emotional content, to which Turkish people have great affinity. Furthermore, Korean youngster culture has managed to capture a coolness factor, they say, with its hip dances and glamour idols. I think these are some of the contributing factors to the rise in interest in Hallyu in Turkey. And Turkish TV companies or media companies, they also buy quite a number of content from the Korean companies. Throughout the region, So Turkish dramas are also are watched by the people, but still we were not able to bring Turkish series, dramas to Korea. I think there's a little sentiment of competition. But anyway, Yunus Emre Institute, which was opened in January last year as the first and only Turkish Cultural Institute in Korea, that within the Hankook University of Foreign Studies is already making a significant contribution to strengthening our cultural bonds. And Yunus Emre Cultural Institute is providing Turkish courses for the Koreans. And we are happy to observe that there is also a growing, not in, we cannot compare the number of Turks who would like to learn Korean, but there is a growing interest towards Turkish in Korea.
Are you a fan of Korean shows yourself?
Yes, yes, I love it because my wife is still a PhD student in Korea. She speaks fluent Korean. So while I improve my Korean, she's helping me to understand.
Which has been your favorite show so far, if I may ask?
Miss Foster, a British remake.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we are watching that. We have watched that now. The
Right.
same content is now in Turkey. It's a remake, Turkish version.
Oh my goodness.
Full of fun. And even when my mother visited me here, she kept watching the Korean serials.
Oh no.
Without understanding the language. But she was very clear about what was going on, in the movie. So
Wow, that's great.
yeah.
You mentioned about your wife, and you've been serving as the ambassador to Korea since December 2017. So, what's been your fondest memory of your stay here over the last 3 years? And I know that it has something to do with your wife.
Well, I think my personal fondest memory is to meet my wife here after 4-5 months after at a meeting with the citizens we met, and 1 year later we married at the Turkish residence. So that is in my personal history, the fondest memory. My fondest memory in general with Korea, in June 2018, I attended the screening of the movie Ayla, The Daughter of War, which portrays, you may know about that, the dramatic relationship between a Turkish soldier and a Korean orphan girl during the Korean War. Then Korean Prime Minister of the Republic of Korea, Lee Nak-yeon, requested me to watch this movie together. And we went together with so many journalists, of course, and we watched this movie in a very emotional, mood. Both him and me, we were with tears, all the 2.5 hours. So we were both very emotional. Because have you seen that movie? I don't know. It's a very emotional movie. At the end of the movie, Prime Minister Lee told the reporters, with the utmost sincerity, I believe, that every Korean needs to watch this film in order to understand the roots of brotherhood between Koreans and Turks. This remains, to this day, is one of my fondest memories in Korea.
Well, the time's up, unfortunately, but I would love to keep talking with you about this cultural connections that we have with Turkey. But in the meantime, congratulations again on your marriage, and thank you so much for taking time for us today. And we wish you much happiness in the new year. And I hope to see you again very soon. And I really hope for an opportunity to visit Turkey when this pandemic is over. So thank you, Your Excellency, and I wish you Happy New Year.
Thank you very much for this opportunity and Happy New Year. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you.